Every year on the 1st of February, the finance minister announces the union budget. Now, we know that the budget has something to do with taxes, and we wonder whether or not we're going to be left with more or less money in our hands. But the union budget actually is much more than just about taxes. Look at this way. You know how every month you actually make a list of your income and your expenses. That's your own personal budget. So in the income column, you'd put in what your salary is. If you've got a house on rent, the income from that also goes here. If you've got any investments, the returns on the investments as well. So all of this contributes to your income. Now, of course, you've got a house to run, so you've got provision expenses that you need to pay for. You've got medical bills, perhaps. You've got other bills such as telephone and electricity bills as well. So essentially, this sheet of paper will then give you an idea about where you stand financially, what your income is and what your expenditure is. So it just helps you plan better. Now, for the government, it's exactly the same thing. The government also has various sources of revenue, and it, of course, spends a lot of money on various things as well. So the union budget essentially does three main things. It tells all of us how much the government has spent and earned in the last year. Because it spent more than it earns, which is what always happens. The government also tells us how much it has borrowed and from where it has borrowed money. The government then also tells us how much the government plans to spend and earn next year as well, and exactly on what schemes, where all is it actually going to spend money. And finally, the government also tells us the state and health of the economy. That's also presented in the union budget. So when you're listening to that budget speech, remember, whatever Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is saying, she's going to be talking about either where the government is going to spend money or where the government is going to earn money from.